All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the faithful elect. This is your brother Ahmad Bayan coming to you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachah Kodash.
Or this major development breaking at this hour, this major development involving the U.S. and Venezuela. Sources telling ABC News tonight that the U.S. has now given Venezuela's interim leader a list of demands that must be met before Venezuela can sell its oil again, demanding Venezuela kick out Russia, Iran, Cuba, and sever economic ties with them. Rachel Scott at the White House with late reporting tonight.
Tonight, sources telling ABC News that the U.S. conveyed a list of demands to the interim leader of Venezuela that the regime must meet before the U.S. will allow Venezuela to sell more oil. They include Venezuela must kick out China, Russia, Iran, and Cuba and sever economic meet before the U.S. will allow Venezuela to sell more oil. They include Venezuela must kick out China, Russia, Iran, and Cuba.
You see what's going on here? All right. So when Trump was talking about the drugs, he haven't spoke about anything about drugs since he got the position to basically get into Venezuela, right? He spoke, I think, once about it, and that was it, but everything else highlighted now is only about oil and making money. All right, so we seeing that this devil, these devils, they are basically showing the true intentions of what they really wanted to do, because of their economy. The Americans' economy and dollar is basically dead. They have nothing backing it up. So they're looking to try to keep themselves afloat, all right, by gathering up minerals and other stuff from other countries, being the bully that they are, right?
And sever economic ties. And Venezuela must agree to partner exclusively with the U.S. on oil production and favor the U.S. when selling heavy crude oil. The U.S. threatening the lifeline of the Venezuelan economy, imposing a military blockade. It sits on the largest oil reserves in the world. The chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Roger Wicker, saying the U.S. plan in Venezuela hinges on controlling the oil and that he did not believe the deployment of U.S. troops will be required. With President Trump hailing the daring raid that led to the capture of Nicolas Maduro.
It was an amazing military feat. We sort of got him a little by surprise, but it was brilliant tactically. It was an incredible thing.
3 days later, still no clarity from the administration on how the U.S. plans to, quote, run Venezuela. But the president has maintained the U.S. is in charge of the country.
The administration has a one-day plan on how to get rid of Maduro, but no idea of what happens after.
And tonight, the president facing sharp condemnation from world leaders over his threats to take over Greenland. The White House not ruling out using the military to do it. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal. And of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. The White House saying in a statement, President Trump says controlling Greenland is a matter of national security.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it.
Amid the escalating tensions, Denmark and Greenland now requesting a meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And with the stability of the NATO alliance on the line, the UK, France, and Germany signing on to a statement defending Greenland's sovereignty, saying Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland, and them only, to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland. Also tonight, Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, responding to President Trump's threat to go after him next. Petro writing on X, Trump's label of me as a drug trafficking outlaw is a reflection of his senile brain. And David, just moments ago, the president posting on social media that the interim president of Venezuela will be turning over 30 to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the United States. The president says that it will be taken to storage ships and then unloaded here in the United States and sold at market price, David.
All right, Rachel Scott with the breaking news.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed, and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Alright? This devil, alright? Though he humble himself and go crouching, you had to take good heed and beware of this man, right? Esau Edom, beware of him, because he will sit right next to you, you know, and try to overthrow you, try to take your seat. This is how this devil operates, right? So he's trying to kick out Russia and China, you know, because they was there first, right? And he come after, and he's like this bully trying to basically overcome them, you know, by holding Venezuela in this type of hostage way, you know. This is how this devil is operate. All right. Verse 12. It says, set him not by thee, least when he has overthrown thee. You see? So you can't set him next to you. You know? You let him know what you're about and what not, because he's going to try to overthrow you. He is going to come with his sword. And his sword is his military, you know, his you know, the blinky, his whole, you know, the control that he has on this earth, you know, his technology and all these things, you know. It shows you the power that he has. It says, set him not by thee, least when he has overthrown thee. He stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. You see? So they come and they overtake Venezuela now, you know, and they're gonna, you know, they're gonna claim and speak these kind of smooth words for people to think that, hey, you know, the vice president, she have control and whatnot. She's still vice president and whatnot, but again, he wants to be above her. He wants to take that seat and control everything still, right? It says, now reach. It says, let him sit at thy right. It says, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou in the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Right? So you have to understand what really taking place here. This is the book of Psalms 55 and verse 21. He says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, right? But war was in his heart, right? So although he might speak smooth words, he might speak kind of things to make others think that, you know, he's seeking their best interests. He's trying to help them. He's trying to get the drugs off the street. He's trying to do all these things. But we have to understand that everything started by Esau Edom, you know, because once the devil was in power, evils started to multiply on the earth, right? When these devils, since they were in power, evils started to multiply on the earth. Having drug dealers, excuse me, having drug dealers and all these things is evils on the earth, So they are created because these people were created. These people exist. These people are ruling. All right? That's what you have to understand. Continuing here, it says, his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right? So all the smooth saying, you know, the talking nice, the talking about you're gonna make your country better again and all these things, there's a bunch of lies. Alright? There's a bunch of lies. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 13. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. Right? And that the whole thing, you know, Venezuela thinks that they're in good hands, you know, well, some of them, and some of them looking to flee because they realize what's taking place. Right? They realize what's taking place, but as the scriptures say, as if you run from a lion and you will run right into what, a bear. So you're running from one bad animal into another bad animal, you know. So it's just basically hard times all over, you know. You'd have no way you could find peace. You'd have no way you could find some sort of ease of mind, you know, unless you turn back to the Lord. And I'm talking to you Israelites out there, all right? Unless you turn back to the Lord. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Verse 16, it says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Right? We're reading this now, so that's it. Yeah. It says, he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Right? So this devil, you know, he will speak fear and whatnot, but at the end of the day, you know, he has those 7 abominations in his heart, you know. Matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs chapter 26. And this is nothing too long, this is a short, quick one. (26 and 24). It says, he that hated this assembly with his lips, and laid up deceit within him, when he speaketh fear, believe him not. Right? So when they're telling you smooth things and telling you that, you know, they're gonna help the country, you know, we in power now, we holding on the fort, you know. But as they come out in the video and what they said, you know, they took over, they got Maduro out, but from there after they don't know what they're gonna do next, you know. It's just to show you that, you know, they really went there for a particular reason, and it's to get the resources from there. That is what they went there for, right? That is what they went there for. That the most you could see, right? It's like a thief come into your land or come into your home, Salakia. A thief come into your, break into your home, and then, you know, they came to thief something, but they end up getting caught. But they tried to play it off like, you know, we didn't come to thief this, we just came to visit the people, you know, and to line with them and to, you know, to probably do something for them and whatnot. You know, they'll come up with some kind of lie, You know, and this is how Esau operating, you know. Where it is he realizing that people seeing him, you know. And what he's doing now, he's declaring his wickedness. He's showing you what he's about. He's showing you that this is what I really come for. It says, when he speaketh fear, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. Right? His hatred is covered by deceit. Right? He do things deceitfully. But really and truly, he's showing that he hates these people. Alright? And these people are what? Is the Northern Kingdom. These are the Lord's people also. The Venezuelans. Right? He's looking to come down on them. He's coming down on Cuba. Cuba is also part of the Lord's people. Right? And just pay attention to the people that he's going after. Right? He says, whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Right? Look what it says here, verse 27. It says, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein. You know, and Esau is digging a pit. And he himself is going to fall into that pit. Because he's interfering with all these other nations. You know, where the nations right now are mad. You know, everyone is pissed off. Everyone seeing the pride of this devil. Everyone is going to come together. He's making all these countries going to come together. He's not going to gain allies. He's going to lose allies. And he's going to gain enemies. Alright? This is what Esau is going to gain. He's going to gain enemies. And these enemies are going to be these other nations. And they're going to destroy them. Alright? It says, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. Right? It says, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Psalms 28 and verse 3. It says, draw me not away with the wicked, and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts. Right? This is the whole thing about them. Alright? Verse 4, it says, give them according to their deeds, and according to the wickedness of their evil and envious. So like here, their endeavors, give them after the work of their hands, render to them their desert. Because they regard not the works of the Lord, nor the operation of the hands, he shall destroy them and not build them up. Right? So Esau is about to be put down very soon. Alright? And what we see in here, we see Esau being lifted up just like Pharaoh, and he's going to be brought down just like Pharaoh. Alright? So
It's Rachel.
I will end it there. You know, Lord willing, this lesson here was edifying to the elect of Israel. I'd like to give all praises and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Ahmad Bayan signing out, and I will say Shalom and Abad Babal.